All right, John, so what's the plan this week?
All right, so what we're going to do, did anyone bring rope?
Always.
No.
You have to bring your own rope. All right, fine. I have spare rope. All right, so we're going to rappel from the second floor
Okay.
of after we crash through the window.
What's this have to do with the movie?
Gentle banter.
I'm Dustin, award-winning indie filmmaker.
I'm John, a pathetic man-child.
I'm Anthony, an avid reader, and The Conjuring is what's wrong with society.
We are all best friends.
Our love of stories brought us together.
And with our powers combined, we're the
Best boys!
So, my name's Anthony.
I'm Dustin.
I thought it was Dustin for a second. I am not Dustin. I'm John. I don't know why. I'm just repeating.
I'd be very surprised if you were. So why are we here today?
I don't know. Why are we here? I mean, have you ever thought about, why are we here? Like, on this rock in the
What's
middle
the name of the movie?
The Unforgiving is a movie that I watched in high school with my dad. We would always look for, these B-rated films that nobody had ever heard of. And I remember we watched it, we loved it, forgot the name of the movie. So it took me 5 to 6 years.
You forgot the name of the movie 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I still don't remember it. I have it written down. I spent 5 or 6 years where once a week I would literally Google the entire plot.
The one who got away.
Yeah. I found it eventually, but I would Google the whole plot. And I'm like, okay, so woman on highway gets kidnapped, chained to rock, does heroin.
How much porn did you have to sift through to find it?
Oh my god! And then
bare feet. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, the feet.
I'm like, there's a brother and a cop, and I would literally type paragraphs into Google. But then one day I found it, and I always forget the name of it. The reason why I picked this movie is because of how impressive it was.
It so is.
Because there's 4 people.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah, you are not kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if we count the rest of the crew, right? So you got the writer, director, editor,
All 3.
executive producer. He's the same person.
Yeah.
There's 4 actors, 2 other producers, guy who did music, cinematographer.
I could not begin to try
there's-
and pronounce these names.
I want to say there's less than 15 people for the entire project.
I could see that. Yeah.
For the entire project, well, because I see
It's like we were.
Yeah.
special
That's us.
Yeah.
Stephanie Eiserhuisen. I'm sorry, I'm gonna butcher these. She did the special effects and the makeup, and then most of this is makeup artists. There's
There's a lot of makeup.
There's 4 makeup artists, the same amount of actors.
Yeah. Wow. They pulled off so much with having so little.
Yeah,
I will say this though: the writer, director, editor, cinematographer, that guy, the guy who did everything, always, usually a bad sign. This motherfucker with his big dick knocked it out of the park with his big dick.
with his big dick.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is such a good movie.
I don't.
So how would you describe the plot?
There's a cop, right? And you see him interviewing 2 people in separate rooms. They're not together, right? And they're just like, okay, talk us through what happened. And they're like, I broke down on this road. I was kidnapped. And then they just start talking through their experiences of how they were chained to cinder blocks and not fully chained down, but their leg, they had it like a ball and chain so they couldn't run. And they just described their experience of being in this crumbling ruin of a building while there's a madman running around in a gas mask who's stabbing people with heroin needles and but that's really it. Is the cop is trying to get to the bottom of who the killer is, because apparently these 2 aren't the first, but they're the first ones to have escaped.
I mean, it's such a bare bones plot that you can't go into it because it would ruin
It would
the fun.
It would ruin the fun for the first time, but it is rewatchable. It does have.
Yeah, we actually just rewatched it.
Yeah.
And I think that it was still pretty effective, which is good because it means it's not like a one and done, like a one-trick pony.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will say this: in the middle, there's a bit of a dip in pacing,
Mm-hmm.
but it picks right back up because it has to shift gears into a new genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is very like bam, 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 bam,
Yeah.
bam. It's quick. It's punchy. I mean, the film's only what, an hour and 15 minutes
Something
long?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah.
That's quick, but it's a ride.
Yeah.
It is one hell of a ride.
And the acting too, like the performances are so strong. Because
They
like
killed it. Yeah.
usually in horror movies, like I was talking to Dustin about this a little bit ago. It's like usually in horror movies they like have the main characters usually be like super like pathetic and like, oh no, I don't want to kill the guy who's killing me. You know what I mean? Like no, but like in this, it's
they're
like
fighting the whole
they're
time.
fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
You
going
know?
for it. They're like, this is life or death. I need to get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Everyone is giving 100%, and you're just like, holy shit, who's gonna win? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, if you are planning on watching this movie, beware of the shaky cam.
Yeah.
The camera is shaky, but it's not as bad as a lot of like modern day action sequences.
Yeah.
So it is still watchable,
Yeah.
but it can like get to you a little bit if you're not appreciating what's going on everywhere else.
It's a little you get a little nauseous, I guess, with it, but like it's not offensive. You know what I mean?
No.
It's serviceable.
It's more of like a this instead of like a...
Yeah. It's serviceable to the story. The listeners are gonna love that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The listeners are gonna love that description.
You guys can picture whatever you want.
Can we get Morgan Freeman to narrate when we do gestures?
Yeah.
He shook his hands a little bit, and then when he said, and then you do this, he jumped them up and down.
He shook his hands a lot of it.
A lot of it. Honestly, in my opinion, that's the only downside of the film, is the shaky cam.
And like that's not even in my opinion,
It's
not
minor.
even a down. It's one, it's minor. Two, it's not even a downside. I think it's like it's a feature, not a flaw. Because like they went in super low budget and they wanted to introduce like excitement into the thing. And when it came out, that was like the big thing, shaky cam. You
That's
know?
true.
So it's like if they were to remake this, which I don't think they should, unless
Absolutely not. Unless this guy does it.
unless this guy goes for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't want anybody else to touch it except for
Alastair.
Alastair Orr.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anybody else to touch it because nobody.
No.
No, they'll ruin it.
Yeah. I dare even say he might ruin it. Because you know what I mean? He went in.
You seen his dick?
Yeah. Because he went into this hungry and he made it and he fucking knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Killer,
You know?
killer film. I'm so upset that this film does not have like more like of a following.
It has to get out.
Like
It
I
has to
wonder
get
if
out
I
there.
could even buy a DVD.
You probably can't.
I think I tried.
Did you?
Like I didn't look super in depth, but like I did a quick cursory search, and I don't think I quite found what I was looking for. But I also didn't know what the cover would look like.
That's true.
It's shaky cam.
Shaky. Yeah, it's just shaky.
It's
it's just motion lines.
It's like a face but blurred.
Yeah.
I love how they use their time in this film. Like it's short, it's punchy, it's a ride. There's no wasted space.
No, I mean, like I said, in the middle there is a little bit of a pacing issue, but it was because they were shifting gears
Yeah.
to go into something else.
Yep.
And
Right.
like it like first time seeing, even the second time, I'm like, okay, like it started off so strong that I was willing to suffer a little bit. Not you know,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm being a little harsh in my words, but like I was willing to sit through that just to see where they were going to take us. And like
Yeah.
I was happy with it. You know what I mean?
They
It
don't
pays off.
disappoint.
Yeah, it starts off as horror and then it just not like a left turn. It just like it stays within the theme, but like you as a viewer you switch
Yeah.
and you're like I understand the context of this now more fully, that you're rooting for a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There are graphic scenes in it. Just a disclaimer: there's graphic scenes, but like it's gonna be weird to say it was tasteful.
Yeah, no, 'cause it's justified. It wasn't raunchy. It wasn't overstayed.
Yeah,
Like-
and they didn't just keep going with. They didn't just keep like beating you
It was
over the
reasonable.
head with gore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know?
there was plot and character and a bunch of other important
Yeah.
ingredients to a
Yeah.
film in between those scenes.
Yeah,
It's because there's those movies that they're just like gore, 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 gore,
Right, yeah.
gore. Oh, don't you love it?
He was rubbing his nipples.
Sorry, I forget that people are actually listening.
yeah. Also, I love that because I just realized, like, looking at the IMDb, like, I love that her name is Alice Edmonds. Because like I said Edmond Dantes like a couple days ago, and I was like, why the fuck do I know that name? Because that is the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
Edmond Dantes, and it's a revenge. It's the revenge story.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I just saw the name, and I'm like, that's what that is. I used to love revenge movies. I used to love them. Because like it was like such a visceral thing. But now like that I've gotten older, it's like juvenile to me.
That is so pretentious.
What? Edmund?
Edmund's
Yeah.
Count of Monte Cristo?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, but I mean, like, no one's gonna know that because you just think Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
That's the name.
It's kind of a little bit of both, honestly, because
Little bit.
she wakes up in this
Yep.
almost
New world.
fantastical world.
Yeah.
Like, what? It's completely flipped her reality
Yeah.
on its head.
The revenge movie stuff, like, it's juvenile. I don't like it so much anymore because honestly, what did it for me was Old Boy. Like, if you guys haven't seen it,
No.
everyone was on that movie's dick, and I don't get it. I couldn't tell you
When did that come out?
Says
about
14-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but like everyone like loved it, and it was just like a revenge thing, and it set itself up to be like a Count of Monte Cristo thing. Which honestly, if you read or watch Count of Monte Cristo, he's completely justified. Like he was like a dandy, and like he eventually like kind of got shit on by like a system of people, and then he went and became like Batman, and then he returned home to get revenge, which is justified because what they were doing was evil. But like Old Boy is just like evil people doing evil things to other evil people. It's just like, I don't give a shit. Like it's just like a vicious cycle. It continues. The revenge violence like just continues to further evil.
Yeah, a vicious cycle.
I hate you. You're watching Finding Nemo. Like,
No, it's a vicious cycle, you know?
oh,
'cause
vicious.
Fishes.
I hate you.
Because when a fish sits on a bicycle, they can't really pedal, so it goes nowhere.
Why? Why?
It's from the ranch.
I thought you were having a moment.
No, honestly, the things that this film did was just incredible. Like, $5,000 to make it.
It's beautiful.
Made $16,000.
Profit.
Yeah.
Honestly, the net profit was over double of what you spent on it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. 8 weekends
Yeah.
to shoot the whole thing. Not even weeks. Weekends.
How did you feel about it, Dustin?
Channel 6.
So we're rappelling from the roof, right?
Yeah, my rope got stuck, but
I
it was
says
around
to
my
him,
neck, and I was a little aroused.
Couldn't stop thinking about feet.
So one of the things that like I really appreciate about this film is that the writing was really strong and solid throughout the whole thing, and I feel like that's where it started. And in my opinion, that's typically where it should start, is with the writing, because everything else is scalable to a budget. You know, how good the stunts are, how good the makeup is, how good the special effects are, the CGI, the soundtrack, the props, all that stuff is scalable. Yeah. But how good the writing is comes from, it's an innate skill that you can train with, that you can learn, you can get better at it, you know. Yeah. And a solid foundation for that is that, and I'm glad they did, because it's like it's like polishing a turd otherwise. Yeah. You know, if something is written badly but it looks pretty, I'm not going to say it won't sell, because things do sell that way.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yeah. But this didn't have that problem, you know. And as someone who, you know, as being among you guys who, you know, would write something first and then do everything you can to film it.
Right, yeah.
It really hits home to see something successful for somebody who probably, you know, I don't know the guy personally, but I'm assuming if he were here, he would be like, yeah, I get that. Where, you know, you started with a strong script and a strong story, and then you did your best to do it.
Yeah, no, he absolutely knocked it out of the park. This isn't supposed to be like a negative thing, but it genuinely feels like he just got a bunch of his friends to just do it.
Yeah.
You know? And like not that he wrote it on the fly, but like it felt like there's this organic, like, I don't know.
You could feel a history.
You can feel history, yes.
Well, I mean, like even think about the if you take into equation like how much it cost him to make this film, right? And it was estimated around $5,000.
Yeah.
And then one of the fun facts on IMDb is that the location needed police protection as it was once a brothel. How much of that $5,000 went to that, and then how much could the actors have actually gotten paid?
Plus, you factor in the makeup.
Yeah, you factor in the makeup because I mean half of the crew was makeup.
Yeah.
So like, did they just believe in it? Did they just believe in it and say, hey, if this makes anything, like just slide me some money afterwards?
They absolutely had to have.
Yeah, with a budget like that, you know.
Because I know that, like, I always had a dream to have, like, a successful TV show. It's still a dream of mine. And ever since like freshman year of high school is like the first time I started. I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna get as many people as I know, like from high school, from friends, friends of friends, family, whatever.
Yeah.
And just do the best you can to make it. And it doesn't always look the greatest, but it's how we all met. And it's I can
Literally,
definitely see that.
We wouldn't be friends if it wasn't for filmmaking.
Yeah.
You know what
absolutely,
I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the first time I met you, you're like, "Hey, you want to die?"
Yeah, and then
sure, I'll do it.
And you didn't run away, so I knew it was perfect.
Yeah. It's kind of awesome to think about. That's how we all became friends.
Yeah, filmmaking.
Yeah, a lot of the people I know.
Oh, except for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we high school and
Yeah.
working together, but
I feel like that's the number 2 thing, because like if I took all the friends I had, pretty much most of them I either met through high school or through film, one or the other.
Actually, if you think about it, like the first time we hung out outside of school,
It was filming.
You threw me in Sister Assassin.
And you died.
Yeah, I
You
was
were already dead.
I was already dead. Yeah, actually, my foot twitched a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, it's kind of how all of our friendships have been built off of.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
We
because then
just-
we started talking about shooting other things and
Yeah.
tried to make ideas for it.
We gotta reach out to this guy because he's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Because like he did what we wished we could do.
How big is
Yes,
his dick?
That's huge.
that'll be the first interview question.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Eiffel Tower.
If he does not hang up,
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something I definitely appreciate about it, is writing first.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it feels like a lot of things nowadays, that's not how it goes.
No.
Where
Yeah.
they're just like, I really want to shoot an explosion. Okay, well, why is that? Why is there an
It'll look
explosion?
cool.
But what's the purpose of it? Cool.
Scared the crap out of me.
The low budget is so endearing.
Yes.
Because they knew what they were doing. They put story first, excellent performances from
That's another
everyone. The makeup was really good. Like literally everything.
Solid.
Everyone on this set was firing on all cylinders. You felt it, you knew that they meant it, and they fucking knocked it out of the park. And luckily, like, it looks like Alastair Orr's career took off, even though we haven't seen anything recently from him.
It also could be a regional thing, because like if
could
this
be,
is
yeah.
this being like from what we see on IMDb is describing it as a South African film.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that media here is going to cover or promote
yeah.
something as well
Right.
overseas.
True. No, but the budget aspect of it, because like going into it, because you could feel the texture of the low budget in a good way, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, you knew there was passion. there.
Wholesome, homegrown.
Oh, it was homegrown. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Homegrown. So Fisheye was a short thriller film that we did about a guy who puts a camera in a women's dressing room and accidentally records a murder and doesn't know what to do with the footage.
Right.
Simple premise. Boom. That budget was maybe $500. Maybe.
Okay, true.
Yeah, and like, but the thing is, we got an apartment.
Because
Somebody.
we had a friend because her dad was a superintendent.
Yeah, he was like the maintenance guy at the apartment complex. So there was an apartment that was just somebody got evicted, and it was just a shithole. So they're like, "Listen, you can come in and do the apartment stuff. Like, you can film in here over the weekend. But the thing is, you got to clean it." And like, so we did it, and we literally
Oh,
like
boy.
it was dude, it was bad. It was bad. Like, there were needle caps and like,
Wonderful.
weird crystal powder shit.
And stains.
And there's stain. Oh, there was a crib inside of a closet. Like, it was just like disturbing.
Oh,
stuff.
God.
Yeah, dude, it was disturbing. Apparently, she was a lady of the night, and like, yeah, she would like have like gentleman callers.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so she was like, I can't.
And this isn't even what we shot.
no, we didn't shoot this.
No,
This was like behind the scenes
jeez.
crap.
Wow.
If you at first it might seem like how can I even start, but if you start looking at like what's available to you, like
Right.
who are you friends with, who are your acquaintances with, who do you
Yeah.
work with, who are you part in your family, that can get you started in terms of like how to find places. Like when we did District 13, we needed a firehouse.
You
What?
my
Remember?
God, you went
So-
that- I
so-
remember.
So it was like, okay, so we did not buy the firehouse.
Yeah.
We didn't even rent the firehouse, but my family in Essington, where we shot that, was very involved with the fire department. Where like my uncle was a volunteer
Yeah.
firefighter, and stuff like that. So I had to make like a pitch to the board to do that.
Seriously?
I'm dead serious.
Wow.
How did you do?
I don't
Well,
even.
you got it.
I mean, yeah, it worked out. We filmed.
Yeah.
Like I had to do it alone. and like I was scared
my
to death because I
gosh.
was like, I don't, I was like shaking, and I'm like, oh my god, so like, because I didn't know what it would entail. Because I asked my grandma and I was like, and my uncle, and I was like, hey, do you think it'd be possible if we could film at that firehouse? Because I can't build. That's one of the few things I can't build down here. And so,
one of them.
I can't build permits and
it'd be a rat's nest.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much.
So then they got back to me and they were like, yeah, we're gonna have you come in. And this was like the day before. They were like, if you want to come in tomorrow and do to pitch and tell them what you're doing and why and all that. And I was like, oh god, I can't tell them all of this.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give them the wrong impression.
Yeah.
Speaking of going back to budget, like it didn't cost me a cent.
Yeah.
That at least, because I just reached out, and that's usually the first step of this after you realize what you have.
Friend of a friend and somebody who's like willing to like feed into the dream. I had the opposite experience at one location, and it was actually terrible. It was at a church.
Oh.
Yeah. No, there was I wanted to shoot a movie called Absolution, and I've never shot it. It's just like a stupid little short film. It was like maybe 6 pages long, but I wanted to get it out. You know what I mean? Because I really liked it. And I was talking to a guy who was like the stereotypical like church rich. You know what I mean? Like he had pinky rings and just like he was morbidly obese, and like his hairline was back here, but he had a comb.
Southern accent.
Yeah. No. It was like a deep like, hey, forget about it. That kind of like, you know what I mean? Like one of those. Like he looked like the Penguin, man. Like, yeah, like. But I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, hey, man, like, we want to shoot a scene in the church, obviously after hours, whenever it's convenient for you. We're going to be here for, like, maybe, like, 3 hours at most, you know what I mean? Just a scene. It's just a talking scene. It's just 2 people in a pew. Like, and the movie was pro-faith, you know what I mean? But, like, I'm talking to this guy, and, like, he didn't hear me. He didn't give a shit. He's like, well, you got to pay us. I'm like, you're a fucking church. Like, what are you talking about?
Fuck you.
Yeah, really, like, that's crazy. Like, I have to pay you? Like, because, like, we filmed in a comic shop. We filmed in, like, we filmed in a,
the apartment.
The apartment. Like, we filmed in so many crazy places, and the church is the one.
A sound studio.
Yeah, a church is the only thing that's ever shot me down, really.
Wow.
Because usually people, like, they at least want to be a part of something cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that like cities help with that because like if we film like out here like where we are like in a suburban area, like people always would like look at us like, what are you doing?
Right,
Why are you doing this? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
In the city they don't really care.
They don't give a shit.
Yeah, like we've never had a problem in the city. Like
Believe it or not, I don't think you guys are gonna believe it at all. All of the actors did their own stunts.
Get the
fight
fuck
scenes.
outta here.
Yeah, they
Wow.
actually did. Yeah, no
but
stuntmen.
It looks really good.
it looks good though.
They look good. They did look really good.
My favorite trivia bit is like Ryan Marquette gained X amount of pounds for the role of Rex.
kilograms.
Kilogram, whatever. I was like, oh, he gained weight for this role, and I'm like, he just got fat, and they just put it in there. they just put it in there.
I don't know. So, what are your guys' like overall thoughts on this? Just to wrap this up, put a bow on it.
I love it. I love because the story is so strong, the acting is so strong, the makeup is really good. I won't say like it's great. There's better out there, but it's serviceable, and beyond that, it's really good.
Even that little part where there's a bit of a lull, it's worth the payout.
It's worth it, yeah, because it twists, and you're like, where are we going?
Yeah.
Just like it's like a not a theme park ride, because it's a roller coaster. It really is. You're like ups, downs, lefts, rights. You're like, where the fuck are we going?
There's a little bit
Loops?
of a pause where it's just a straightaway,
Yeah.
and then it takes you through a corkscrew.
Right? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So good.
Honestly, I mean, I remember there was. This doesn't happen for many films for me. There's one part in particular I was like, oh shit! Like,
Yeah.
I was shocked. It got me. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, did not expect this.
Mm-hmm.
It's phenomenal. I can't say it enough. And then like the fact that the other thing is that it's near and dear to us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, especially you guys, all the things that you've shot, low
Yeah.
budget. You know.
You showed us, and I think the first time you showed us, you were like, yeah, you just got to get over the low budgetness, and that's the thing that we like the most.
Yeah. Well, I was like, you got to get over the shaky cam.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah, you're like, this is a film that needs to be brought to
It
light.
needs to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah.
I know that it's an older
And
one.
then like, I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
2010.
Yeah.
if you compared this to something else that's low budget that made it big,
Yeah.
Paranormal Activity,
Yeah.
this shits on it.
This shit's
This
absolutely.
shits on it so hard.
Yeah.
Blair Witch. I love Blair Witch for what it did. This shits on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It shits on it so hard.
I don't know what it is about it that like it for some reason is it
It
didn't.
has substance.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so much more at play than just like gore, like torture
Right.
porn, blood everywhere
Yeah,
kind of thing.
scary.
It's like building a house that has a strong foundation. You can decorate the house any way you want to dress it up with how
Right.
much money you have, but if it doesn't have a strong foundation,
And
Yeah,
and I
there's
watch a lot of like low budget B shit. A lot of it's gimmicks.
It's weird though because like it starts out a little gimmicky. You
It
know what I
does.
mean?
Yeah, it does.
And you're like, okay, this
It
is another
does.
Saw thing, and then it goes off on its own thing, and it does another gimmick, but like it does it in such a fresh way.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. I'm just overall like the story's great,
Yeah.
but I'm more so impressed on what they were able to achieve, and you feel it. You feel it the whole way.
Yeah. I hope nothing but the best for this guy because he's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
seriously.
For anyone that wants to check it out, The Unforgiving.